this week's video, I'm doing the 10 questions tag. The first question is, how did you come up with your username? I first had a different username and it was jtriquetra, which is kind of complicated, so I decided I wanted something that was easier for people to pronounce and that really says something about me and about my channel. So I decided to go for Crafty Renata because I'm very creative and crafty and my name is Renata. It's really that simple. The second question is, what would you do with $100 million? Well, first of all, I would donate a lot to animal shelters, animal care and protection of wildlife, and of course, I'd buy myself a house in the midst of beautiful nature like around here, and I'd have lots of land, barns and sheds and pastures so I could adopt and look after and rescue tons of animals, give them a better life, a loving home, lots of care, and of course I would also have the money to hire people to help me with all those animals so they would have an even better life. That would be amazing. And of course, if any of my loved ones would need some extra money, I would be there for them and give them some. Number 3, when are you happiest? I'm actually happiest when I am like right now in the middle of nature, when the sun is shining, when there's peace and quiet, fresh air, and surrounded by wildlife, even though you can't really see it right now, but you can hear the birds and the ducks and everything. So I really love that. That's my happy place. And also when I'm at home, spending time with my own pets and in my art and craft studio, those are the moments I cherish most, and that's when I'm at my happiest. Number 4, what is a favorite thing about yourself? I would have to say my creativity and my enthusiasm, and of course my intense love for animals and my desire to protect them. Number 5, what was your most embarrassing moment? I think one of my most embarrassing moments was when I was 11 years old, and I know that was a long time ago, but trust me, once I tell you this story, you'll understand why I still remember so well and why I consider it to be one of my most embarrassing moments in my life. So I was 11, as I said, and I was at an outdoor pool with my sister, and she had a male friend with her. They were just talking on the grass, and I was swimming, in my white bathing suit, a new white bathing suit. Everything was fine, everything was great, I was having fun. I also had my period, and I wasn't that experienced yet with tampons, but I was wearing one because I wanted to swim, obviously. And yeah, you can already kind of guess what happened. So I got out of the pool at some point, and I was like walking, and I felt stuff dripping, down my legs, water, I thought. But people were staring at me in shock and looking at my crotch. So I looked down, and there was blood dripping down my legs, and because the blood was mixed with water. Sorry, I know it's kind of disgusting, but because the water was mixed with the blood, it seemed like it was so much blood, but it really wasn't. And then of course the white bathing suit made it look even worse. I was so horrified, and there wasn't a toilet nearby, so I had to walk like far to get to a toilet, and then I had to go to my sister and that guy first because I needed to get my stuff to get a new tampon. And oh my gosh, there was nothing I could do to cover myself, and everybody was looking at me. At least that's how it felt. And oh my gosh, it was awful. And my sister kept asking, why aren't you swimming anymore? I was like, no reason. And then later I explained, but I couldn't explain with a guy there. I was so mortified, But yeah, never wear a white bathing suit when you're wearing a tampon, and especially not when you're new to tampons. Like, just don't. Do yourself a favor, don't. Number 6, who did you last take a picture with? I think that was with one of my bunnies actually, Shoku. And if we're talking about people, I'm not sure, but I think probably my best friend. 7, what's your dream job? I think I already explained in a very recent tag video what my dream job would be, but in short, I would love to still be doing YouTube a little more professionally, and I would also love to have my own business, my creative business, just making things with my own hands, selling them, maybe also doing commission work, and that in combination with one of the previous questions, if I won that $100 million, the combination of the YouTube with a creative business and then a pasture and barn full of animals, rescued animals that I would take care of, that altogether would be my perfect life. Number 8. What's your dream car? You might not believe it, but my dream car is actually a Dodge truck. I would like it to be an army green and a matte color. I don't really care about the type too much, it just has to be a badass truck. And of course, it wouldn't be very convenient in a country like Belgium, so I don't think I'll ever have one except if maybe I move to another country or to an area where there's just less traffic. I don't need a truck either, but I would, that's for when that dream comes true with all the animals and lots of land, then that truck would be very convenient. I would love it! And then the final question, number 10. What is one lesson you've learned in life? I would say one of the things I've learned the hard way is don't just go and trust everyone. And also gather evidence or proof when it comes to important things. That may sound a little vague, but I'm mainly talking about things like career-wise, so jobs, money, contracts, agreements. Don't just assume people will not screw you over. I don't mean you should be paranoid and distrusting, but just cover your bases and make sure you have things in writing and to have evidence of all the stuff that's going on. Hope you'll never need it, but if you do end up needing it, you will be so happy that you actually gathered all that evidence, you kept all that proof, and it can really help you in certain situations, because you would never think you will get in situations like that, but I have really needed those things in the past, things that I would have never thought I would need, but it's always good to keep things, even if it's something you think, like documents and stuff. If you think you're not gonna need it anymore, keep it anyway. For example, when you have a job and you get to choose your own hours, or you get to work from home or things like that, make sure you log everything you do, like write it all down. When did I start that day? When did I have vacations? When was I sick? What did I do that day? Have proof, even if it's like screenshots or whatever, have proof of the stuff you've done. It seems like a lot of work, but trust me, if you get in a situation where you need it because they're saying things that aren't true, then it can help you out so much. Even when things get to court or something, the more evidence you have, the better, because people lie. Not everybody lies. There are people who are definitely, sorry, I just kicked the tripod. There are people who you can really trust and that will never try to harm you, and when they say they're gonna do something, they do it, and they don't, they're not gonna stab you in the back. But there are a lot of people who will. A lot of people who will. People you wouldn't expect it from. And that's really sad, but unfortunately that's the reality. So sorry if I keep looking down, but I'm like standing somewhere where I can fall in the water. So I'm trying to see if I can make a step without falling in the water. But anyway, I don't want this last question to come across as, I'm paranoid and I don't trust people and I'm thinking everybody's out to get me or anything. But really, it's just a small thing to remember to do. And if you don't need it, awesome. If you do need it, So just be careful who you trust and always make sure to have things in writing and to have proof of important things. That's my advice to you. If you do that, then you'll be fine. So that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed these beautiful surroundings. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. A thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!